we're back.
Part 2 of 432.
If you're comfortable, I'd like to go into a little bit of motherhood and your grief.
Oh, I share the whole thing because I do
Okay.
it during Future Fuel. So, Brianna, so when she got out of prison, she actually went to work release. She had her 28th birthday and work release. She started drinking. She had some PTSD. She had issues. I had spies on her. She already knew me. She knew I'd have spies. She's not stupid. Um, and her boyfriend at the time, she would go spend the night over there all the time, and so I know that she was having nightmares, bad nightmares, very physical bad nightmares. She didn't like to be alone. She had all these plans of getting out, like most people do in prison. Some of those plans are not realistic, though. Stubborn, didn't want to listen. So she was drinking. Her drink of choice. She started drinking daily at some point. Her drink of choice was Patron and Monster in late January. So she had, like I said, I know a lot of people in prison, and when Brianna got out of prison, like she had all these fans. She's like, it's so weird. These people keep friend requesting me. I don't know who they are. Just go with it, dude.
Yeah.
You know. So people already knew who she was because she's the whole reason that I had all this social media and public stuff. So somebody in prison had she had reached out. She had spoken with about something. So he told me that he thought she was doing cocaine. And I went into action. Brianna was never the person that you can come at straight at about anything. So I went into manipulation mode. She has a small brother, and I used sibling rivalry against her. I actually said, I was like, well, apparently, if you put a young person's blood inside an older person, it'll rejuvenate them. Now, I'm A positive. Now, your brother has already said he would let me have some of his blood when I need it. And she's like, no, I can do it. I was like, well, what's your blood type? I said, first off, I'm going to need clean blood. All right. I can't have a bunch of stuff in there. So it has to be pretty clean. So that was because I think she knew I knew something, but she didn't know what I knew. And I didn't tell her what I knew. And it was a whole little thing right there. I actually ordered a blood typing kit. And she was in South Florida. She was in Broward County at the time. And I was in Highlands County at the time. So I had planned. We were actually, because we're from Ohio, the Bengals were playing at the Super Bowl that year. And I reserved an Airbnb, a huge Airbnb, so we could all get together. And so I was going to bring it with me then. But a week and a half after somebody told me, so this is what happened. I woke up one morning and got on the computer and I pulled up my Facebook and I seen I had a message request from somebody. I didn't know who she was. And it turns out it was a girl that works with Brianna. And she said, I'm so sorry. Can you please call this hospital? They won't tell us anything. Find out what's going on with Brianna. And so I did. And I had talked like multiple people in there. And I remember, like, when I seen that message, I started having this weird pain and just really bad feeling. And then they told me that my daughter had died. This was on February 2nd. And so I called my son. My boo had texted me, and I said, my kid is dead. And I called my mom. I remember when I called my mom, and I said, Brianna's gone. And she's like, sighed. She's like, where'd she go? I said, no, she's gone. She's gone. And there was something between shock and just misery, because I was actually in a camper at the time, because I had property that we were building on. And I remember later, after I left that camper and looking back at it, I could see myself on my knees with tears and snot and drool just running down my face. So I actually went out on my P.O. box and I got that blood typing kit because I knew that I wouldn't want to see it later. Because I knew that I had, I had shock, and so I didn't have complete feelings. And I drove down. And the people I spoke about earlier, Pearls, already had a room ready for me, to take care of me. And my mom was down there. And like both I and my son, it's in our nature, we went into investigation mode. Over a 24-hour period, we had spoken to everybody. We had like the story of how she died and blah, blah, blah. And we were thinking it was this February 2nd when she died. It was a couple days before I spoke with the investigator in the sheriff's office, found out it was February. And actually, I didn't even find out from him. I found out from the funeral home it was February 1st that she died. She had cocaine in her system. And from everything that we learned, we thought so it was a fentanyl overdose. It took 4 months. We said goodbye. My mother and I did it, and we did it quickly before my son could drive down. He was in Lakeland, and I didn't want him to come down for that. And I remember walking into that room. You do like 30 minutes, and she's in the hospital gown, and it's just her body. It's like she's not there, and it felt so weird. And I remember telling my mom to make sure that I touch her because I won't. And you got to make sure. And I said, you need to take a picture because I don't want to forget. My brain's not completely working. It actually is not working at all, basically.
Yeah.
It broke. It broke. And I made a promise to her, to that empty body. And that's what it was. That empty body. That she's always gonna stay here. It's one way or another. Because she would make such bad choices. But she's also a super good person. Like she would just give you, like when they say give you the shirt off her back, seriously. Like she would help people. And I tried to hide it for a few days on my socials because I just didn't want to talk to anybody. Because once it became known that she had died, I had so many messages. And I remember this girl telling me that she was with Brianna when she was down south at Homestead CI. She said Brianna doesn't know it. I never told her this, but she saved my life because I was going to kill myself. And like she was out there, we were out there working, and she was like, I was at my lowest. And Brianna just started talking to me and made me feel better. She would smile all the time, even when you don't feel like smiling. So that's what happened. And I did touch her, except for her torso, because it was so large. It was not normal. And I kissed her. I touched her head and her face and her arms and legs. And I did what I guess all moms do. You cover him up. You like smooch him up because she's cold. She was cold. So you're doing that, smooching him up with the blanket as if, I don't know. And my mom took a couple pictures, which I don't share. There is a picture of me, but it cuts her off,
Yeah.
so you don't see her face. And I do share that, but it's personal and not for sharing.
Yeah.
And so that's how that began. As this all began from a promise to an empty body. And like I said, my brain was broken, and it got worse. Like people would say, "Did you shower today?" I'm like, I don't know why they were asking me that until I realized I hadn't showered in a long time.
Yeah.
And you have that broken heart syndrome where you think you're having a heart attack. And I remember that first time I was just like, well, screw it, and I just lay down. Like, I guess this is it. We had a celebration of life service. And there were people there that have never even met her. And it was a celebration of life. We had a snow cone machine. We had that icky cold shrimp that she loved. Oh. One of her friends from prison came, and she was like, I'm going to try this shrimp because Brianna loved it. And she almost vomited everywhere.
It's like the one that they have in public, like with the mirror. Oh gosh. It's not horrible, but it definitely is not the best. I don't hate it. I don't.
We have so many Publix platters, and I rented like all this stuff, and it wasn't even at a funeral home.
Yeah.
So, and there were people that came from Ohio. So it was pretty cool. And I made a copy. So I printed out all these photos of her and we put them in photo frames all over the tables. I made a copy of her prison photo album.
Mhm.
I actually made a replica of it because I wouldn't take the real one there. We have videos. So my son had chosen a song, my mom had chosen a song, and then we had the main one with all these photos and stuff. And because I don't trust anybody at that point, I made the videos for that. And then I let everybody choose. I was like, you guys can take all those framed photos. And there was like a WWE SmackDown. They were going at it. And then so my mom spoke. A few people spoke. And actually, Vicky Pearl spoke. She said, Brianna saved me from being killed by a mattress because we were taking this old mattress out of this thing and it was heavy and it almost smushed her. Brianna was like, that was her one experience. 4 months. So I thought it was fentanyl. I started going around the state doing what I do, and it's busy work, I know. And people kept saying you need to grieve. But again, I didn't know exactly what killed her.
Mhm.
So I went around the state, meeting with some local politicians about Narcan vending machines. And I happened to be up north around Tallahassee when I got the email that, that had our tox report. And there was no fentanyl. There was no fentanyl. There were no opioids. So it was cocaine, alcohol, ethanol, cocaethylene when you mix cocaine and alcohol, cannabis, no opioid. So drugs do still just kill people, man, not just fentanyl. So I come home, and I think that's when, I mean, I did grieve, but I think I came home and started to do more grieving. So at some point, and I don't know when, people, I would have those closest to me realize, okay, well, I would point out, oh, look, I had a good 5 minutes that day. And then a couple days later, I'd have a good 15 minutes of the whole day. And so it would change slowly and surely. I created Brianna Second Chance Inc. because that's what it is. And I actually had some experience. I work with some people that do harm reduction, and I would do the street outreach with them. And I would talk to people because people find it easy to talk to me, I guess.
Mhm.
And I would learn just how young people were when they started getting high. I'm
Mhm.
like, holy crap. And actually, my friend Ruben Saldana, he's a credible messenger in Orlando. It's been in the news all over the place. I went over to their spot. This was pretty early on too. I brought Brianna. I brought the urn, and I had like a poster board thing with pictures of her. And I was just telling these kids, these at-risk kids, about overdose and how to recognize and respond. And then I just would tell them about what it's like to be the person left behind. Sorry, to be the person left behind. And I was just honest about it. And it's never the same. Like I've done this multiple times and it's never the same. It's whatever is in my mind or my heart at that time. So and that was the weirdest thing, is because I heard from him afterwards, and I know about these kids, and he was like, they're still talking about you. Like I didn't realize how impactful it was
Yeah.
at all. It was just, I'm just telling them, hey, because you're be dead and you don't know what happens when you're dead. So this is
Mhm.
what happens. Because at one point, because I could not like maintain a job or anything else, I became homeless. I had this little 5x10 trailer I'd built out, and I moved into it. I had no bathroom or anything, and it was crazy because everything was one plug, outdoor extension cord. You would not believe how many people let me just come to their place. I didn't even ask. They're like, "Come on over and plug in, man."
Yeah.
Be camping on people's lawns, and I'd still get busy on doing. I was learned how to write grants. I'd be in that little thing doing this and that, and I noticed people like, man, Angie sure does like to go camping. I'd be at campgrounds and I go out there hustling and
Mhm.
door dashing. It was rough, but I think I also probably needed that daily survival.
Right.
Um, and I'm still working on my own Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm not where I should be.
Mhm.
But healing does not mean healed. And I don't think that the grieving process for a mom probably ever never ends. because I still, every single day, she comes across my mind. And almost every day, I have a tear. It's not all day. There's never a time that I'm so sad I won't get out of bed because I force myself to get out of bed. I force myself to go. So, does that answer your question 85 minutes later?
That does answer my question, yes. I appreciate, how open and honest you are about everything and willing to share your story. And I think that, even if it's not right in front of your face, you are saving people's lives every day.
I
So,
know it. Yeah, I know. And I
yeah,
don't, and you don't get to see it. You don't get to see the results a lot
right.
of times. But you know it's there. I know it's there. But I'm doing it, and not because of me. I'm doing it because of her. For me, her energy is still out there. I feel like I live for two.
Yeah.
I go to college right now, and she'll be there at that graduation. She gets no credit whatsoever for the good grades. She never got good grades. And I given her credit for it now, Missy. But she'll be at that graduation
Yeah.
because, see, that's why I'm a crazy chick right there. Looking at her.
When you talked about your promise that you made to her, when you first created Brianna Second Chance, explain what your vision was for, the organization and tell me what surprised you as it's grown and as things have changed.
We actually, when we first formed, the main idea was reentry.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually did that a little bit, helping out a few folks when I come out, just giving them a couple of outfits, some socks. I picked the one guy up. It was very, all over socials. Keith Wielden. I'm being that support system.
Mm-hmm.
We did it for a few folks, but my first guy, Keith, 5 months after he got out of prison, he died. So I'm done. I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's too close. And to be honest, I just don't have it in me. What happened was, crazy enough, I wrote this program, you see. I wrote this curriculum. And it has just, it's like it takes up everything.
Yeah.
And that's future fuel. And it just takes up everything.
Yeah.
And we didn't even start in shelters. We started, and I got my first grant not even for a shelter, but we were doing it community based.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started doing the shelters, and it just started cranking up. And we had a lot of shelters. We've lost a couple, but it's really overtaken everything.
Yeah.
And I've seen the magic that happens, and I'm not exactly sure how it happens, but I've seen some kind of magic happen during the program, as during those 2 days in a shelter, and some kind of light come on. It's so hard to describe, but I've seen it. I'm terrible at describing anything. So I'm like, listen, I mean, we teach them the harms, the effects, the harm reduction methods, and collateral consequences, all these major substances, how to overdoses, and some of the whys, and da 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 da. I do that. We educate and empower to make a informed decision on substances. But to be honest, there's a magic.
Yeah.
There's some kind of magic. And these kids are retaining this. And we have fun. That might be part of it. We have fun. But we impact. And it's hard for me to see it sometimes, but I've heard from some of the other facilitators, they were like, and we don't know what that impact looks like long term, but I've heard that we impact well over half of those kids in some way. And I think that's magical. So every bit of my effort, as far as the organization and everybody else's effort, is on this one program. Everything's changed.
Yeah. It definitely has. I mean, coming from prison reform and the expansion of how much you cover now, it's awesome, and it really will change lives, and all you will do is continue to grow. It's awesome. And I do agree that it's hard to explain what it's like to be in the shelters and talking to them. You can say, oh, this is what we talk about, this is what we do, but when you see their eyes light up and they are finally like, wow, I know what I'm talking about. That's the awesome part. So,
oh, you've seen the magic, Madison?
I have seen the magic.
You've seen the magic in real life.
I have seen the magic. The magic is real. It's there.
Yeah. It's so hard to explain it. It just happens, and it's crazy because as more people get involved and they come and they train and
Mm-hmm.
whoa, wow. And something I was in an event and I seen there was Miss Florida, Miss Teen Florida or whatever. So you always have to take all these. I'm the worst at taking pictures. I'm like I forget, so I
Yeah.
have to remind myself to take pictures and all these things. And so I'm like, I went up to him. I'm like, oh yeah, can we take a selfie? I was actually what I said was this is the first time I said it. I said you might want to take a selfie with me because I'm going to change the world in my daughter's name.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, I don't even know, just come out. Right? I don't even know. I didn't. I'm like, what the hell? But I just went with it, and they're just like, yeah. But after that, I said it a few times, but I didn't say it that way. But I think the Brianna is going to change the world, and I said it a few times, and then a few other times, and I don't know at what point it happened, but I believe it. Then I heard other people say it. I mean, if you change the world for one person, I mean, if you save one life, you change the world.
Right.
Right? You've changed the trajectory of their fate.
Of course.
So I guess in a way it's true. I still feel weird saying it. I feel weird saying it.
That she's going to change the world.
Yeah.
I don't think it's weird. I think she is changing the world.
I'm
She's
going to
in
make her a wiki
all of those kids.
page.
What'd you say?
I'm going to make her a wiki page.
You should.
Yeah. And like I think that she's a martyr. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do get sad. Like every time we have like good something, like, oh wow, we've done this, we've done that, or something new, or we got a grant or whatever. Every time there's a reason to celebrate for the organization, I get sad. So I'm like, why are you so sad? Duh.
Right.
Yeah, right. So there it is.
Yeah, and like you always say, what's your favorite saying? Nothing happens in a vacuum.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
All of your emotions, you can be
Yeah.
excited and sad and everything. Two
We're a
things
little
can
bit
be
out of
true.
that.
Yeah.
A little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things can be true at once. So looking back to, I guess, a little bit before the organization started, what would the you from 10 years ago?
I think I've always been persistent. I would just say that, well, look at you rising to the occasion.
Yeah.
But, I just don't. I've heard from people that I'm a humble person, and I think that is true.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is definitely true because I don't see or think about, like, I don't think about accomplishments that much. I just live life, you know?
Yeah.
I don't sit and I don't take the time to celebrate those accomplishments because there's more coming.
Right.
There's more that needs to be done, or there's a whole pile of this, or so I don't take that time. I just crank it out. What's been the most important thing to me is that this program or this organization and this legacy continues beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
We now have more trainers than just me. As we continue to expand, I mean, anybody knows me. If I can get funds, I'm going to try to make as many jobs as I can.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to make six figures, though. Ain't nobody going to make it. We ain't that kind of organization.
Yeah. No.
And we ain't never going to pay for training either because this is not something you do just for the money.
Right.
And if you do, it'll show. Do it because you care. Yeah. I think that's part of the magic too. So I don't know. 10 years ago, me, who knows? I've always been a smart aleck. I've always had a weird sense of humor. I think who I am as a person has changed. Like, yeah. Like, part of me is dead.
Yeah.
Part of me really doesn't like now. There's some parts of me that I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care. Like that have like zero emotion. I say, you do you, boo boo, all the time. You do you, boo boo. Not my problem. If you're not hurting somebody else, you do you, boo boo.
Right.
And some of that stems from that because there's just part of me that's just like dead.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can fill. I can't fill that hole or that void with anything. But I can suck it up, Buttercup, put on my bootstraps, and try to. I mean, it's my goal to have fewer moms of dead kids. Mm-hmm. That's my goal. I don't know. 10 years ago, I wouldn't care that much anymore than I do now. It's just a thing, man. It's just a thing.
Just a thing. What do you hope that listeners carry with you after hearing your story, Brianna's story? how the organization started.
Really, I want to be honest. You can't turn back the hands of time. Sometimes in our lives we get busy. Like sometimes when with my kids, I would get busy. My life would get busy. I don't have time. But being active in your child's life is hugely important. And I think it's even harder now because everybody's on that phone, on that screen. Psh, 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 psh. I see people like standing in a row and everybody's on the screen. First off, you get neck problems doing that all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like we could do Future Fuel. I guess we could do it on Zoom, but I refuse because it's just not the same. I think we need to connect with each other much more in person, live, as opposed to so much screen time. Mm-hmm. I myself have had all these social medias. Remember how we talked earlier about how I feel like I'm representing, so it can't all be like super real.
Yeah.
And I've had many meetings, unrecorded meetings, where I've been privy to things that are not the same thing you see on the news or on TV. I've been in enough news articles to know how much is misquoted and how much isn't true. So this is not the real world. I know that AI is taking over and it makes certain things easier. And I know you whippersnappers are making a living with AI. I see the commercials going towards me like, if you're over such and such age, you need to learn AI. Listen, but we need that human connection. We're humans. We're social animals. We are not the fastest animal. We're not the strongest animal. We are the smartest, probably. Sometimes I don't know. I question it. Our social interaction with each other, that's helped Homo sapiens survive. Mm-hmm. You know that we've not even been on this planet as long as the cavemen were. The Neanderthals were. They were on this planet longer than Homo sapiens have been on so far. So just think about that and all the change that we've made to this planet, and some good, some bad. Think about the social interaction. We need that social interaction with not just each other and other adults, but especially with our families, our family units. Those kids want to hear what you have to say. Those kids want to have that time. And it is quantity, okay? Quality over quantity. Screw that. Mm-hmm. Duck that. Put your damn phone down. No, you don't need to know. As a matter of fact, log off. I stay logged off. Log off the Facebook or the TikTokies or whatever the hell it is and look somebody in the eye and have a damn conversation with them. And if it's your kid, especially if you have kids, put that damn phone down. Put their phones down. Have a dinner together every single night. Eat a meal together. No matter what you got going on. Put the phones away. I'm not just saying I know you've heard that from other people, but it's real. We're not promised tomorrow. And I can promise you one thing right now. If you outlive your kid, the person who you are at this moment is gone. And they ain't coming back. You're going to be a shell of that person. And there's a whole lot of people that don't get up out that bed like I did. A whole lot. So don't think that you're going to I'll be okay. No. Be destroyed. You only see part of me. You don't see my misery. You don't see my sleep issues. You don't see the other issues that I have stemming from one event. So take advantage of that time when you have it. Quit screwing off. Get your ass off the phone and the internet for 5 damn minutes. That's it.
I love it. That was fucking awesome. Standing ovation. That was good.
And put googly eyes on your
thing. And put googly eyes on your microphone.
I really like our Future Fuel symbol though. Isn't that super cool?
Yeah. I do like I need to get that thing set up. If we come up with a name, I don't know. I have to think.
Do you have a list of names?
No. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Can we call it shooting the shit?
Shooting the shit.
Welcome to Shooting the Shit. Some of these people
shooting the shit.